afternoon, guten Tag, everybody. My name is Malay Panchal, Mel Panchal. I'm the founder and CEO of PureGlobal Cannabis and our operating company, PureSense Inc. We're one of the newest, most exciting entrants in the cannabis sector, and I like to think of ourselves as the next generation of cannabis companies, or Cannabis 3.0. We're listed on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the ticker PURE. We also are listed in the US OTC markets under PRCNF, and we've just listed here in the Frankfurt market under the symbol 1QS. So our company is really taking Canada as a R&D hub, a place where we're developing our technologies, our know-how. As you know, the cannabis market is exploding around the world. Already there are over 30 countries in the world looking for medical cannabis products, including obviously several European countries. And we really have a global perspective. Even though, as you know, on October 17th, Canada went legal, adult legal that is, for cannabis, allowing Canadians to buy cannabis without having to go to the doctor, which makes them sort of the gatekeeper. And obviously this is a tremendous boon for Canadians and for society as a whole. However, our company is really not focused on that rec space per se. Although we will venture into that, our focus is really developing products on a GMP scale so that we can export them globally and develop a system of operations that we can replicate into several markets. Grandview Research has indicated that they believe the cannabis market is going to be worth close to $150 billion by 2025. We're only a fraction of that today, and so the growth potential is tremendous, as we all know. So our company is really comprised of pharmaceutical, biotech, consumer product goods, IT, and marketing professionals. I've brought in the best from parallel markets and parallel industries to bring best practices into the cannabis sector. We are looking to develop the future therapeutic products based in cannabis to produce the medicines of tomorrow, really focused on the wellness in the pharma category. Our aim is really to become the world's most trusted cannabis brand. It's easy to say. To do that means no cutting corners, doing everything the right way from the first time, and we believe slow and steady is going to win this race. I'll talk to you a little bit about myself and my team. So I'm a pharmacist by trade, studied at the University of Toronto. My first startup was a B2B startup company that built a logistics platform for pharmacies connecting to their suppliers in the early 2000s. I later went on into community pharmacy, where I developed a holistic pharmacy concept, introducing sort of a coaching system for pharmacies, which did very well. I later then went on to the pharma industry, where I introduced patient adherence solutions, as well as clinical trials operations for post-market studies. This all really prepared me for the cannabis sector, and I'm bringing all those best practices into this company. As a pharmacist, when I started this company about 4.5 years ago, I realized, of course, that I was not going to grow the product. I was not going to produce it, having no experience in that area. And the first mission I had was to try to find the best grower I could possibly find. And after interviewing over 100 growers, many of them coming from sort of the black market arena, claiming to be the experts, I realized that the true scientists in the field have not really come into the sector. And in so doing, I came across my first hire, who's Nader Geshlagi. Dr. Geshlagi is a PhD in plant physiology and a master's in science in biotechnology. At the age of 18, he developed his first large-scale hydroponic outdoor facility. And since then, he's built large-scale facilities around the world, including the Middle East, Europe, has done academic work in China, Japan, and in Europe, he's built a very large-scale facility, and lucky for us, his wife preferred Canada, and that's where he chose to settle. And he has been our guru and our mad scientist, if you will, to develop unique patented grow technologies, which I'll talk to you in subsequent slides. The rest of the team, you'll have a chance to get our slide sent out to you, and we have copies around as well for you, but we have a decorated team of individuals, including Stephen Pin, VP of Corp Dev, who is here with me today, and CFO that comes from Deloitte, and so forth. We have an exemplary team, And again, this is just the beginning. We've just hired a chief medical officer who's a pioneer in the industry. We've just also recently hired a pharma product developer. We're hiring food scientists and research scientists and formulation scientists. And we're in the process of developing and building a large-scale GMP lab for both formulations and producing the products of the future. Our board is also consisting of members of decorated companies that have come from pharma, as well as public trading companies. Those that have launched public companies and have managed public companies, both in the NASDAQ and the TSX, and really focused more on the pharma side again. Our industry advisors include top regulatory advisors from the country. Paul Sparks was a former member of the Chrétien Prime Minister's advisory. Jim Yeomans is a former CEO of Sandoz Global, as well as a former chief operating officer for Glaxo Global, among several other high posts that he's held. We're also putting together a medical advisory as well as a patient advisory group. So this slide talks to you a little bit about our capital structure. So as mentioned, our company is public. We're fresh out of the gates. We just came into the public markets in July. And we've listed initially on the Toronto Stock Venture, as well as the Frankfurt, the 4 exchanges here in Europe. We're, again, fresh company, trading around market cap around 50 million. We're with about 15 million in the bank and zero debt. We have a very good cash position and very well capitalized to make our company successful down the road. Management still holds over 20% of the company, which gives us the necessary controls to build the company. This slide really demonstrates how fresh we are out of the gates, with a market range of between 45 million and 21 billion for cannabis companies, and a mean of 284 million. We only have one direction to go. We are pre-revenue, pre-sales license, and for this reason, we are still relatively under the market. I like the analogies that our predecessors are already several thousand feet in the air, and everyone is kind of focused on them, and they're kind of flying around. We're the next stage, we're the next generation. We get to learn from the errors that our predecessors have made, and we are just beginning to take off. So I like to say that we're still on the tarmac, engines are running, we have our sales license coming any time now. We actually have our sales inspection on Tuesday, tomorrow, which means that we'll get our sales license within a few weeks thereafter. So revenues will commence as early as late November, early December of this year, into the medical markets as well as the wellness markets. But next year is really things will really start picking up for us. So this slide is really an overview of our entire company, and I won't spend too much time on it because I'll be going into each of these aspects in more depth in the following slides. But just in a nutshell, our company, again, really focused less on the rec space, more so on wellness, medical, and pharma products. This means developing formulations, understanding how cannabis works. All these wonderful posters that Mark and his group have put up around here give you a sense of how THC and CBD can innervate the body for physiological responses that we seek. But how do we do this? Cannabis consists of CBD, THC, terpenes, flavonoids. What's the combination that works best for certain therapeutic areas? Who's putting the research behind this to actually discover these targeted therapies, which is what we're really focused on? Our company is already, as I mentioned, imminent for sales licensing. We have extraction capabilities as well with CO2 supercritical. Our goal is to be a hub of formulations. So bringing in product from other producers, producing our own cultivation, but transforming that product into the products of the future. So manufacturing is really what we're at, as opposed to cultivation. Again, in the wellness products, pharma products, including CBD-based and THC-based. Our leadership team is by far one of the top in the industry. We've developed a patented multiponic vertical farming system for cannabis. One of the first things Dr. Nageshlagi, my VP production, set out to do is study all of the various hydroponic techniques that are used out there, and there are many benefits to some and many limitations to other. we were able to put them together and develop our own multiponic system, which allows us to take advantage of the vertical space in a warehouse. And this is technology that was developed by NASA many years ago. We know it's proven in other produces and other plants, and we're bringing that technology to the cannabis sector. What's more, we're fully funded for our milestones coming forward. We're guiding for 8,000 kilograms of production for our 40,000 square foot facility by the end of 2019. This is actually a conservative number in our opinion, given our vertical farming technology. We believe we'll be able to do several-fold over this. So let's talk about our Brampton campus. So our Brampton facility is nicely settled, very close to the Toronto International Airport, and within striking range of about 7 million people, about 20% of the Canadian population. Our first phase comprised of putting together a facility that could procure product from other producers, package it, and distribute to medical patients. For that, we needed a vault, we needed some extraction capabilities, some mild micro and QA lab, we needed a record-keeping system, the security systems, packaging, and then of course shipping and receiving. All this is ready to go, and we are soon going to start dispensing to medical patients through our online website and through our affiliations with some of the largest medical groups in Canada. Our phase 2 adds about 15,000 square feet where we're building our vertical farming cultivation system, and this is already under construction as we speak. It should be fully erected by Q1 of next year and producing plants on large scales. By Q2 next year, we will have a GMP, GAP grade facility ready for product ready to distribute through the European markets, and for which we're currently speaking to many German distributors to set up those channels. We have also recently purchased the building adjacent to us, which is an additional 23,000 square feet of space, where we are also building out our manufacturing and cultivation facility. And this will add additional capacity to about 8,000, as I mentioned. This is not the end for us. We are located strategically in the middle of a large industrial park, and we have about 400,000 square feet of space that we can keep expanding to if we see fit. So our company is going out with our brand as Pure Sense. Sense is, the word comes from sensimilla. Sensimilla is the female cannabis plant, which is the seedless plant that everyone is growing in their medical facilities. And we didn't want to be a cannabis, or obviously not marijuana related. And sense is a scientific term, and we were actually first MediSense. Sounded like kind of like medicine, which we really liked, but then we realized that a lot of cannabis users are actually more in the wellness segment, and they don't like medicine or pharma products. And then if you were going to choose vitamin C, for example, would you buy medical vitamin C or pure vitamin C? The answer is obvious, and we think that this kind of lends to the same attitude towards cannabis, and so Pure Sense was born. The company itself is focused in the segments of wellness and pharma, really more of a focus on the older female persuasion, if you will. 50 to 60-year-old market target is what we're targeting. Not to alienate men, like some brands such as Eve or what have you, but we find that older women are the fastest growing market in the cannabis sector, and they're the major health decision maker in the household. So we are fully secured, about $2 million worth of inventory currently to go to market with for both the medical and the adult legal market. We'll be going out with our adult brand later this year into the regulated retail markets through the provincial distributors, and again dispensing to medical patients as early as late November and early December. We are developing our site to be fully GMP and ISO compliant. We're already collecting the data. And then we're in the process of certifying for European GMP, which we expect in early 2019, which will enable us to start exporting product globally. We have revenue generation through customer acquisition. We have medical relationships with some of the largest medical groups in Canada, which I'm going to talk to you in a subsequent slide. So let me talk to you about a little bit about our technology. Although our focus is not cultivation, in order to secure low-cost input, we needed to find the cheapest way to produce cannabis on a high scale, to produce high-quality product on a consistent level. The goal is to eventually have a standardized product in order to give consumers the same experience each time. To that end, our VP of production developed what we call a multiponic system. This is a vertical farming system which will have multiple layers of grow. Our technology doesn't grow the cannabis plant to its natural height. What we do is we allow the plant to grow to a smaller height through a vegetative process, maybe 1 to 2 feet maximum, and then we flower the plant. This enables us to reduce waste in terms of the stalk, in terms of the roots. All of that is really gone to waste. Why put energy into that when you don't need the product? We're really focused on the flower and the root. Once you make the roots very nutritious and you give them everything you need, the plant itself will be very happy. So we're using high-efficiency LED technologies that are using focus spectrums for the various stages of our plant development, as well as automated system to control the nutrients that are being delivered to the roots, and as well as really tight controlled growth environments. One of the challenges that a lot of producers are facing today, you may have heard of facilities that are having a lot of issues, shall we say, with mold and mildew. They have not invested the right funds in developing proper environments, controlling the humidity, controlling the temperature. It is very critical that the plant be not exposed to too much humidity. This exposes to powdery mildew, and this is the biggest challenge in greenhouse settings. Our facility will be indoor. However, we are developing technology that can be implemented in a greenhouse setting if we wish. So the goal is to really develop personalized medicine down the road, and I'm going to talk to you that shortly. So our consumer brand, again, is PureSense, and that's our lovely logo that we've developed. The hope is to really capture the pure domain for the space. We're trying to go for a tantric art, creating sustainable packaging that'll be recyclable. The goal is to really connect with our consumer, stand for what the consumer believes in terms of sustainability. Even our production methodologies, we are using recycling wherever we can, minimizing our carbon footprint. We want to resonate a message that is consistently through to develop a trusted brand. We will be focused on developing partnerships with medical communities. There's a number of cannabis clinics across Canada, and as well as the traditional social media mechanisms. Again, we are R&D driven. We are really focused on developing the pharmaceutical products of the future, which means investing in the people, in the scientists, in the research facilities, to develop those formulations. Cannabis is used in a variety of ailments, and we need to develop them so they are targeted and they respond to the body in the way that we want. For example, if we're treating a situation that's for a lower GI tract, we want that to dissolve or absorb in the lower GI tract, not the upper GI tract. So those are the kind of formulations that we're developing. So the product itself, in Germany right now, you can only dispense flour, but that's going to change. In Canada, pharmacies do not dispense flour. The belief is that the flour, when you combust it, has a tar component, which is potentially harmful for the body and the lungs. And so I don't personally see pharmacies dispensing flour the way they do here. Pharmacies are still behind there in terms of the regulations, being able to dispense cannabis, and so today it's dispensed through licensed producers such as ourselves. However, very shortly, you're going to see a large array of products that are derived from the extract. So we take the flower, we extract it, we purify it, we solubilize it, we take it through a process that allows, there's a winterization, there's a decarboxylation, many steps that have to happen before the product becomes bioavailable for the human body. And in so doing, we have an opportunity to make a wide variety of products, consumer product goods, starting with cannabis oils, soft gel capsules, which we're already outfitted to develop on a large scale. But very soon you're going to see a wide variety of products, including the vape pen, seedless clones I have listed there. Home growers will be buying clones from us, which we'll be distributing as well. The vape pen will be the largest product category in the sector, in my opinion. Very convenient, smokeless, but needs to be formulated in a proper way. Today, the illicit market has put out many vape pens, but it's causing irritation in the throats of many. and in some cases even poisonous. And so we are formulating a vape pen with the proper constituents that will not be harmful to the body and that can give the desired therapeutic response. Topical products are a huge opportunity as well. CBD has been shown to have a lot of benefits in cosmetics, in certain skin diseases, and in certain treatments of even pharmaceutical diseases. And so we're very interested in developing those products as well. Sublingual and transdermal methods of delivery are also becoming more and more common and sought after. We already have a transdermal patch mechanism and equipment that we've identified, and currently we're just in the process of formulating how to best infuse the patch with a cannabinoid product. Down the road, you're going to see foods and beverages being infused with all kinds of CBD to start. CBD, if it's not already here, very soon it'll be what I call almost like a fad. Everybody will want to be using CBD, especially the older patients. The reason being is it has, as you've seen in one of the slides out there, numerous benefits, including anti-inflammatory, anti-Alzheimer's, and almost an anti-aging property. And so we're going to see CBD in your vitamins, in your foods. People will start wanting CBD in their soap and shampoo and so forth. And so we're developing formulations that we can infuse these products with, working with branded companies to say, hey, we have a solution for you to infuse our CBD in a way that's going to be better solubilized and more bioavailable than if you were just to add it yourself. So I want to talk to you a little bit about our partnerships in Canada and how we're entering the market. So currently, we have a relationship with one of the largest medical groups in Canada, Apple Tree Medical Group. They have 700,000 patients in their clinic database currently, live patient files. They also own an electronic medical records company that has about 7 million patients in their database. And if we can just tap into a few percentage of those patients, we have more business than we can handle over the next couple of years. We're also partnering with a company called BuyWell and Evergreen Insurance that offer insurance for cannabis users through the companies that they work for, and one of the few companies that covers cannabis. It doesn't matter regardless of your indication. We are also very excited to be launching one of the largest global studies of its kind. One of the feedbacks that we get from the medical community consistently is that there is no medical evidence on cannabis use. There's a lot of studies. There's about 20,000 publications out there on various studies that have been done on cannabis. Most of them have been done on the harmful effects. And a lot of these studies are skewed because they have not removed alcohol or they have not removed tobacco from these studies, and the negative effects have compounded. We are launching the first observational real-world study of its kind with Apple Tree Medical Group, where we will take thousands of patients and we will look at a cross-section of several strains and several diseases to start collecting data, and we will use artificial intelligence and machine learning to find the patterns of which products and which strains are eliciting the best therapeutic responses. For example, neuropathic pain, insomnia, anxiety. Patients are saying that cannabis is helping them in these conditions. But which cannabis? Which cannabis is best for it? Which combination of cannabinoids and terpenes is best for the patient? But we want to take this a step further. One of the areas that I was highly interested in when I was in the pharmaceutical sector was an area that was being developed called personalized medicine. I don't know if any one of you are familiar with that concept, but basically every one of us has a different physiology. We have a different biochemistry. A medicine that might work for one individual may not work the same way for another. This holds true even more so for cannabis. Cannabis affects different people in different ways. So our company is really looking forward to bringing personalized medicine to cannabis. Understanding the genetic makeup, offering patients an opportunity to understand their genetic profile through genetic testing, which we'll be offering on our website. You'll be able to click personalize your cannabis, and you'll have an opportunity to get a kit that will take a mucal swab, and we will do a quick PCR test for you, and we'll be able to determine if you're a fast metabolizer or a slow metabolizer of cannabis, THC, and CBD. This is important to know. If you're a fast metabolizer and you take cannabis and you try some and it doesn't work, you might say, oh, this product is useless for me. But you're a fast metabolizer. You need a higher dose. Low metabolizer may take a regular dose of cannabis and, oh my God, this makes me feel awful. It's because you're a low metabolizer and you need to take a very small dose. So So it's just the beginning of where personalized medicine is going to head, and we're looking to even advance developments from there. One of the things as I mentioned before, one of the key aspects of our business was to lock in low-cost input. For any business to be competitive over the long term, you need to lock in low-cost APIs, or the inputs for your product. To that end, we've looked at the Colombian market, which is a very hotbed of activity these days. When I first learned about Colombia, I don't know how many of you watch Netflix, the famous TV show that's about the region. That's the mindset I had as well, to be honest. And I'm like, whoa, I don't know about this region. But when I studied Colombia more, it turns out that Colombia actually provides the world with the highest amount of USD-approved produce, organic produce, that is. They are the pioneers of organic food and pioneers of large-scale or agriculture, actually. And so there are regions in Colombia that are more suited for the other illicit products, which I won't mention. But there are certain regions that are ideally suited for cannabis production. And with the low cost of labor, with the fraction of the cost of developing a large-scale facility there, Colombia looks like a very good opportunity area for us to set up shop. So we're looking at a property right now that is licensed, where we're looking to purchase about 60% of the property for psychoactive and non-psychoactive production of cannabis and CBD-based products, and we have about 70 hectares of land that we're looking at there, and the intention would be to build out about 1 million square feet of greenhouse facility, which would lend to about 132,000 kilograms of production by the end of 2020. So it's an opportune area that we're still looking into. We're also looking around the world at other areas to set up shop. Obviously, Europe is a very exciting area with 700 million people in this market waiting to be serviced. Coming to Europe over the last month, I've seen that Europe is about 4 or 5 years behind Canada. And so it's a great opportunity for us to be sort of at the forefront of things that develop here, providing education to the governments, to provide education to the medical community on how to most safely introduce cannabis to their consumers. And really, that's the end of my presentation, and really implore you to look further into our company. And I just want to say that, again, we are fresh out of the gates. We're one of the newest entrants. I like to say that we're sitting on the tarmac right now, ready to take off. Our sales licensing is coming in the next month or so. Revenues are going to ensue as early as November, December, and as our cultivation for our phase 2 and 3 kick in early 2019, and we begin exporting to global markets, things will really start taking off. And when we introduce our pharma products and the pipeline of pharmaceutical products that we're developing, that's when we really will start getting noticed. So take advantage now, get in early, and hold on tight for a great ride ahead. Thank you, and I'll take any questions if anyone has.